Namaste, I'm Mona Flynn. Thank you for joining me. Today you will need 2 yoga blocks and a strap and a blanket. We are going to wear our strap as a harness, as the theme of our class is heart and chest opening. Your strap needs for you to catch it, for the most part, right in the middle, so that there is equal length on either side. I typically recommend an 8 or 10-foot strap. And I'm going to come closer to the screen so that we can see how to adjust and where to place the strap. So at first, the center of this strap will be just at the shoulder blades, and the idea is to pin the shoulder blades onto the back body. Then we are going to send each end over its shoulder. We are not crossing yet. And now crossing. So I'm giving us time to get to this crossing the strap back behind. And a little bit later, we will use holding on to the strap and reaching down and back just to let the shoulders come into this more passively. But for now, we're going to complete the harness. So completing how you buckle. And I'm going to come closer yet again and show that if you have a double D ring, you will go through 2 and then out through 1. If you have a buckle that looks like this, then you'll go through the inside and then through the outside. I'm going to show yet another one. And cinch it up, keep it nice and tight, and then perhaps tuck it in just to keep it from hanging around. You might have a buckle that looks like this. And though that is somewhat similar to the one I have on, it also needs you to come up through the center and out through the end. And for the most part, some buckles made this way, they have a slight curve. So I call this the mountain and then the valley. And if yours is that way, you will want to get ready to go up the mountain. And that means that as you hook the buckle, it will go up the center while you have the mountainside showing, and down through the end. And as that happens, going up through the center and down through the end, you should be able to pull a little bit and find that this is cinching up. And if by chance your buckle doesn't have a little bit of a curve, it might be that the way the teeth are, you've come at it from the wrong side, and you'll be able to tell right away, and it's just a small adjustment to turn it the other way and go up the center and out through the end. But the telltale will be that there will be a holding pattern. So we want to feel held and secure. So as soon as you get to that right place and you tug, there should not be give. You should be able to adjust the tail and get to what you need as far as the snug. All right? So now that everybody is there, we will continue. We're going to start with cat and cow. I'm going to open up my blanket and park it underneath the shins. And if you would like to use the blocks underneath your hands for the sake of wrists or shoulders, please do that. But hands underneath the shoulders regardless, shins pressing down and back, and we are going to come into cat pose. So the harness will start to tell you about habits of how you come into poses, where you think you're working from, and then inform us where to do better. Come through to not just neutral, but to cow, send the sitting bones up and back, and repeat. And then the harness will show us some of our habits regardless. When I first learned to use the strap this way as a harness, my teacher said, you know, you can put this on at home and go about your chores or your daily life for an hour or a few hours and then take it off and you'll have such freedom, but it will continue to show you your habits. Wonderful. Come and sit now comfortably. And whether you sit in hero pose, and if hero pose is not for you, you can come and sit comfortably in Sukhasana and happy or easy pose. But regardless, we are turning to one side. We are just easing in, warming up with a few poses. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale and switch. Wonderful. Returning to that all fours position, we will take on yet another twist. This time, propping one leg out to the side and lifting the arm that belongs to that leg to come into a Vasisthasana, a side plank preparation. And the idea here is to keep lifting from the side ribs. Exhale, come around and down. Reach that arm underneath. Invite cat pose into your body. Turn your head and look to where the fingertips are going. And return to where you had been, to one side. You can stay here. You can slide that long leg back to where it would be behind its sitting bone and keep reaching up. We're going to create yet another variation, different angles of practice. So as you come down now, take that long leg and prop it up in front of you so you have the knee bent. You get to bear down, and in case you are able to do more, straighten the bottom leg, turn it out, and now come into this side plank. If that is too much, drop that back knee. It is always about having variety. So if you can add yet another action of light strength work, pull the feet toward each other, keep lifting the side ribs, try to slide into the harness, meaning that you're trying to shrink inside it. And then exhale, come around and down, dropping the back knee first. And then to the other side. So I'm going to turn to be able to show you from the other side that we get to stay together. But here we go. Long leg to the side, lifting the arm, using the foundation, keeping a sense of lift through the side body, and then coming around and down, inviting cat pose in, rounding in the spine, looking to where the fingers are going. Inhale, return. Take the long leg and slide it back any amount that will just give you variety in how your core muscles are helping with stability. Turning the rib cage, looking up, and exhale, come around and down. Park that long leg so it is turned out in front of you, knee at 90. Decide about the leg below, and come right back to yet another variation of side plank. Pulling the feet toward each other engages more core, but it gives us the chance to lift that little bit more. Exhale, come around and down, dropping the back knee first. And now we will open up the front body, so we are ready for that. At first, we're going to get 2 blocks. And I'm going to put one block low between the heels back behind. I'll take the other block and keep it nice and tall so that I have as much height of the blocks behind me and stack it on top. Sending the arms ahead, lifting the sternum forward and up, pressing the shins down and back, and keeping the back bend in the upper rib cage. We want to take one arm back behind and find the block setup. Lift the other arm straight up And keep finding that sense of lift. The heart reaches more up than forward. If you find yourself dropping back, send the hip points forward. Try to keep the shoulders and pelvis square with the direction you're facing. And then both arms back behind. So this becomes a little bit more of a challenge. Keep sending the hip points forward. Keep the legs on. If you are a back bender, if you have more freedom here, you can turn the blocks lower, you can slide down toward the heels, but make sure you spend time with the other arm reaching. Focus on the sense of lift. Shins pressing down and back. As you exhale, come out of it. And then we're going to ignore the blocks. We're going to, unlike the classical form, we're going to drop the body weight back and invite the quadriceps to lengthen a little bit too. Similar idea, however, we're going to drop one arm back. So we're going to reach that arm back while the one reaches forward. Those arms are not hanging out. Inhale, come upright. Start from the same place, please. Drop the body weight back. Keep the shins on. Just remember the back bending in the upper rib cage, and then the other arm behind you. Deep breathing. And inhale and come on up. Wonderful. We will return to that all fours position. So now I'm going to turn to the front and guide you from that angle. The blocks are an option if you would like to use them. But now, one leg to the side. And the opposite arm to counterbalance. I want to take that arm that is reaching and send it forward and then out to the side. What you might notice is a change, a shift in how your core muscles brace you depending on where the arm is. If you can stand to do more, you can lift the long leg and then take the leg back while the arm goes forward. And continue to send them opposite each other. Your job is to keep lifting the lower ribs instead of sinking from the midsection of the body. And give it a rest. Whether you're using the blocks or the hands at the floor, now take the long leg behind you and press down and back. So now I'm going to turn to the side to show that variation. I am trying to keep us together. Same leg is back behind you. And while your hands push, keeping the collarbones broad, neck long, shoulders out of the ears, pick up the bent knee and bring it as close as you can without rounding in the back. Send the leg back. Bring it in and aim for the opposite elbow. You can rotate a little bit, that is just fine. Reach the leg back. Bring the knee in, aim for the elbow, same side, and take the leg back. Give it a rest. Come into your downward facing dog. Try to stay inside the harness and shrink up into it. Roll the shoulders open, push away the floor. And before you return to even up the other side, lift your head, look ahead, bend in the knees, and come almost to the surface below you. So this becomes very similar to that powerful pose when we stand, and just like that, we are charging the legs. So now we want to even up what we've done. One leg, other leg out to the side. The free arm reaches opposite. We'll move that free arm forward and out to the side. With the breath, slow and controlled. And though we could continue just like that, the option then is to lift the leg and to counterbalance the weight of the leg and the weight of the arm. And give it a rest. With or without the blocks underneath your hands, choose for yourself. Keep the shoulders out of the ears. Bring the bent knee to the chest. Float it back. Bring it across the midline. Aim for the opposite elbow. Float the leg back. Pull it toward its own elbow. And as you plant that foot behind you, back into your downward facing dog, shoulders roll open. Try to shrink inside your harness. Inhale, lift your head and look ahead. Bend in the knees yet again. Find your place in it. This is not cat. This is closer to cow. And as you come back into that downward facing dog, come walking past your blanket. Push away the floor. Find that same shape, that powerful pose. And inhale and come on up.